Let's talk about how things ended for you. And I believe it begins with Eddie Izzard.
It does begin with Eddie Izzard, yeah. Well, I guess it begins with Eddie Izzard. So we're in Paris, and not everybody. Noel has stayed at home, and Bonehead has stayed at home. So press and promotion then is being handled by Liam Gallagher and Alan White. So Tony McCarroll's been sacked, and we have Alan White, on the sticks. Alan, Gallagher, Liam, myself, and Linda from the record company have gone to Paris to do some press and promotion, and I'm road managing that basically. Quite extraordinary. I mean, we travel by Eurostar, and Liam certainly. Well, all of them have hit the fun button from the second we hit the train, right? So that they're having a good old jolly up, and we're off to Paris. It's a beautiful day. Let's get on the pop. We arrive at the Hotel du Nord. And this is no word of a lie. It was literally taped off by the French riot police. Okay, bomb threat.
Wow.
Okay, I don't think it had anything to do with Oasis. I don't think there was a kind of a mixed message. Oasis are going to be checking in bomb threat. There was a genuine bomb threat at our hotel.
Right.
There wasn't a genuine bomb. We get checked in. We start doing the press, and they keep drinking throughout the course of the day. We leave the hotel, the safe environment of the hotel, and we go to a nightclub to do the final interview. I mean, it's gone swimmingly. The French have loved it. Liam's been charming. Alan's been great. Gwigsy's rocked up and done the odd interview, which is extraordinarily rare, But they've been fabulous, and I'm just congratulating myself on what a great day's work we've all done. We arrive at the club. And it's a radio interview. They got themselves set up at a table, and for whatever reason, Liam is being interviewed alongside Eddie Izzard. Okay, very French, right? Mm-hmm. Very French. Eddie Izzard and Oasis, of course, makes perfect sense.
Oasis, as they say.
If you've ever been to a French festival, it makes perfect sense.
And they've got a funny way of saying Oasis. They go Oasis.
Oasis. Yeah, I've got a funny way of saying everything. It's French.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, so there's Liam's sitting next to Eddie Izzard. They're doing the interview. Eddie Izzard was just about the beginning of his willingness to not play with, but to explore his sexuality and the way he presents himself as a sexual being, it was very gender non-specific. So the makeup was on, he had the lipstick on, the nails are done beautifully, I might add. And we were in that era of black, and I think they were latex trousers probably, and then a bright orange latex top, which is an awful lot to take on board for a young man from Burnage in Manchester.
Yeah.
And so, but it's all good. So they're bouncing off one another, and the interviewer is sort of sharing the spotlight reasonably equally, and so Liam is very relaxed about it all. Eddie Izzard speaks perfect French. And so Eddie Izzard begins to answer his questions in perfect French. Now the interviewer is just drawn naturally, I suppose, into sort of Eddie's world, and Liam's just sort of sitting there killing time, which went down like a knackered lift, quite frankly. And the next thing, I'm sitting at a distance just watching it all take place, thinking this is all good. Suddenly Liam's up, and he's upturned the table, this table, effectively, the one that you and I are working at, something very similar to this. He's upturned the table. His chair's gone backwards into the club. He is absolutely livid, screaming about what is Eddie Izzard doing on this, we're Oasis, we don't blah, blah. He went batshit crazy. He then turned, Gwigsy and Alan tried to calm him down. I tried to calm him down, and he was having none of it. And so he determined that he was going to leave. So I turned to Gwigsy and Liam and Linda and said, "You stay here. I'll go with Liam and I will try and work this out." So Liam and I disappear, and we ended up at a place called Lily La Tigresse, which is a wonderful bar. It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
After what Liam did to it.
Well, no, actually, he was always extraordinarily well behaved there because he wanted to be invited back. You know what I mean? You know, and also it was very hard to misbehave there.
Yeah.
It was just a great bar. Anyway, so we're in Lily La Tigresse, and we're having a couple of margaritas. They served the best margaritas in Europe. They served the best margaritas in Europe, and I've kind of talked him down, you know, and so he agrees with me that we will get the. That we'll take the limo that we've got on stand, and we'll go back to the hotel. And I think, thank God. Linda turns up, and Linda decides that actually it would be a better idea if we all go back to the club. So we start heading back to the club. Liam now. So now there's Liam and Linda and myself in the back of this Merc driving through Paris.
Who's Linda again?
Linda is a record label. She was at the record label. She was press and promotions coordinator. So she'd put all of this together, basically. So the three of us are driving back to the club. I don't think it's the best idea in the world, but that's what we're doing. And Liam is taking umbrage with Linda about what had just happened. He's basically dumping fault on her lap, you know, choosing not to see the fact that Eddie was A, charming, B, articulate, C, speaking in French, you know. Anyway, we're probably doing 35 miles an hour. And Liam's response to Linda's response to Liam's anger is to open the car door and throw himself out onto the streets of Paris as we're careering through it. My response is to throw myself out of the other door, okay? So now the two of us are rolling down whichever the hell promenade it was. And we gather ourselves. I've landed a bit more elegantly, but then, you know, I'm ex-parachute regiment. I've been trained to land a bit more elegantly. But we both landed, and miraculously, neither of us have done any damage to ourselves. And so now we're facing each other in the street. You know, it's almost like a kind of high noon vibe, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning, probably. And Liam punches me in the face.
Bloody hell.